Hello, this is step 4. We will be making the doll's body. Grab the tail you previously made and fold it in half. Line up the ends next to each other like this. Place it at the back of the dog and fix it with pins. You want to pin the tail on the outside surface. The side with the texture more visible is the outside. Make sure both ends are pinned to the fabric. Next, grab the second body fabric. We are going to draw the sewing line on it. Please look at figure 4 before you start. From the bottom, measure 7.3 centimeters and draw a mark. Do the same thing on the other leg. Make the marks a little bit darker. These marks are the starting and ending points. For the first stitching, we will start from the left side mark and sew to the second mark. Let's draw the sewing line. Draw it 8 centimeters inward from the edge. Once you are done, line up the fabrics together with the outsides facing each other. Fix the top half of the fabrics together with pins after you line them up neatly. Okay, let's start sewing from the first mark we previously drew, and stop at the second mark. Sew only the top half using back stitching. Apply back stitches. I will fast forward from here. The area with the tail fabric is very thick. It will be easier to sew this part by doing one stitch at a time instead of the scooping method. If you do the regular back stitch method on the tail area, the stitches might come out too big or mess up the fabrics. When you get to the second mark, stop here and secure the stitches with few knots on the back. Cut the thread. For the next part, fold the bottom half up like this. We will be sewing the belly fabric onto the bottom half of the dog's body. Grab the belly fabric. The side with the wider middle is the front legs of the dog. Fold it in half and mark the center of the fabric. Do it at the other end too. The side with the texture more visible is the outer surface of the belly. The inside of the dog is the outer surfaces too. You want the outer surface of the belly facing the inside. That way all the outside surfaces are facing each other. Line up the center mark on the belly to the middle of the opened up body fabric. Line up the wider side of the belly first. This is the front. Make sure that the center mark on the belly and the start of the stitch on the body lines up. Then, fix them together with pins. Do the same thing for the other end. Line up the center mark and the stitches on the body. Fix them together with pins. Pin the middle area as well. When you are done, leave a 5 cm long opening hole. Do not sew between this area until the end. Now, draw a sewing line around the belly, 8 cm inward. Do not draw between the opening hole marks. It's nice to draw the marks for the opening hole before sewing. This way you won't accidentally sew everything up. Okay, let's start sewing. Start from the left mark for the opening hole and apply back stitch. I will fast forward from here. This part is very important. Please follow the video carefully. When you get to the point where all three fabrics meet, you will need to make sure you sew this area well. The mark we drew on the top half of the fabric should still be there. Make a stitch over that mark and close the meeting point. You do not want that area to spread apart. Keep going to the other side. When you get to where the three fabrics meet again, do the same thing as before. This part is very important. Make a stitch over the mark and close the area well. Once you are done, secure the stitches with few knots. Cut the thread. For the next part, please look at figure 4D and look at where we will be clipping. We will be clipping 5 areas. Please make sure you do not cut too close to the stitches and accidentally cut them. We are clipping the fabric so that when we flip over the fabric, those areas will not look lumped up. Okay, now flip over the fabric inside out through the opening hole. Next, let's fill up the dog with some fiber fill. Break the fiber fill into smaller pieces. Start putting in the fiber fill. You want to fill up the ends first. Push the fiber fill into the ends. You also want the seam allowance inside to go in one direction. Push the flap inside the dog up or down. It does not matter which direction you choose as long as it goes in one direction all around. This will make the edges come out pretty. Do not put too much fiberfill inside. When you squeeze the doll, it should feel soft. If you put too much, the fiberfill might stick out through the edges. We will now close the opening with slip stitch. Before we start, draw a sewing line 8 cm inward on both sides. Don't start right at the opening. Go about 5 cm back and start from there. This will make the stitches connect and look more natural. Slip stitch following the sewing line. Stitch 1 or 2 more times past the end of the opening. We will need to make the knots not too visible. Let's secure the stitches and finish up the body. Pick 1 or 2 fibers where the thread is coming out. Pull the thread out and make a knot. Do it 1 more time at the same area. Finally, insert the needle next to the thread into the body. Pull the needle out away from the knots. Pull on the thread gently and cut the thread. Good work! You are finished making the body.